subscribe, and ring the bell to never miss an update. Hello everyone! Today on Lady Mary Bath, I'm taking you along to the Carmine Dance Hall Antique Show. It is a highlight of the Round Top season. Lots to discover here with vendors from all over the country who will share their collections with a bit of history. Join me. Folks are lined up for the preview night at the Carmine Dance Hall Antique Show. This takes place during the Round Top Antique Show weeks, and you can mark your calendars for March 20th for the next preview night, with the show running through March 25th. You can be right on time. There are some great finds here with some interesting history. Waterford crystal decanters. Notice the detail in the stoppers. Not something we see today that looks like the Powers Court pattern. Roseville pottery has a history in Ohio dating back to 1870. Molded nature-inspired Art Deco designs, and always look for that back stamp which is incorporated into the mold. A collection of canes, which some shoppers are looking for. We'll also see some fashion accessories. Pins are always in season. It's never too early to shop for Christmas. And one of my favorite handbag designers, Mary Francis from California. This one I have seen before. I have a friend that has this very one. And you can also prepare for other seasons, the pops of color for spring. Patriotic, it is America's semi-quincentennial. Welcome to the fall edition of the Carmine Dance Hall Antique Show, where each piece tells a story of timeless elegance. It's always exciting to meet with the vendors and learn about their collections and the interesting history. Let's shop the show. We are stepping back in time with some amazing treasures. These you may recognize from some period dramas that are popular. And we will learn a bit of history and some great details here in craftsmanship we don't always find today. This silver plateau and the candelabras remind us of the Gilded Age. These are actually from New York and were brought to Dallas by Harry Ozenoff, who wanted to tap into a new market with the West Texas oil families, and they are available at this show. There is such rich history. Plateaus are always made in 3 sections. They can be elongated on the table depending on the size. And this terrine is absolutely incredible. We will see the detailing and the hand-engraved monogram. This is from Gorham, and there's a lot we can learn from the hallmark. A pair of candelabras. And we will meet Virgil, who is an expert with these wonderful treasures from the past. You can also follow him on social media and learn something new. I will share his information in the video description. Let's have a closer look at this terrine, and Virgil will tell us more about the history and some clever ways that this can be adapted for serving.
This particular piece of silver was actually special order from Gorham. And it has an unusual design to it that you can use it as a soup tureen, or it comes apart and you can use it as a wine cooler in the center of a table.
The hallmark gives us some very specific information with that order number encased with a rectangle, and that signifies it is a special order piece made by Gorham. You will notice the detail on the inside of this terrine, and it is repoussé, which is achieved by hand hammering sterling silver from the reverse side to create a raised 3-dimensional relief design on the front. This trumpet vase is the belle of the ball. would make quite a statement. And it's paired beautifully with this gold plateau. A great way to showcase the collection. And this one has some very special features. If we look at the detailing, we notice a 9-point crown with a monogram, rumored to have been made for Wilhelm Victor of Prussia. And that, of course, adds to the value and makes it more of an interesting and historical piece. Look at the detailing, this reticulated base on the vase, and it is hand engraved. It's like touring a museum with these beautiful pieces, and there are customers that line up to take these home. And many of these have come from famous West Texas oil families. And Virgil will share some history with us on these pieces, including the gold tankard and this absolutely incredible oval centerpiece. He has refurbished this to its glory.
One of the most rare items that I have at this particular show is a tankard that was made by Paul Storr in 1829. And the detail and design of this is very rare on a tankard. Plus the size is very unusual also. This particular tankard weighs 119 ounces. This is a French mercury fire gilt plateau made in about 1840 to 1860. And one reason I know that it was made probably on or before 1860 is because mercury fire gilding was actually outlawed by the French government in 1840. But they continued to use this process up until actually until about 1900. But most people say the cutoff period for when they stopped using it the most was about 1860.
These have such an interesting history, and I'm sure have graced beautiful tables. A sterling silver tea set is high on my wish list. Someday I hope to add one, and we've got some great pieces here. We'll also see a modern version that is highly collectible. Triple candelabras, a pitcher, some great additions to your collection. This punch bowl has an interesting history that we have shared in a previous visit to the antique show. A pair of English ice buckets, champagne coolers, many ways that you can upcycle these. You could use them as a vase. And look at the beautiful hallmarks. You see that lion passant, that signifies it is sterling silver. And I find that lots of antique consignment and thrift shops don't recognize the lion passant, and if it doesn't say 925 or sterling, then they think it is silver plate. I have gotten some wonderful deals over the years, including at the Guild Shop of Houston. Let's have a look at this American coin silver tea set. That is exquisite, and that is before sterling became the standard 925. I've shared some tips and history in a previous visit to Angevine's Fine Silver, and here is the modern version from Denmark. I'll tell you more about the designer and what an impact they made in the tabletop industry. A mid-century modern coffee tea set from Georg Jensen, often pronounced George Jensen in the United States. If we turn it over and look at the back stamp, we see it as H.K. Henning Koppel. He was a designer for George Jensen with an interesting history. Henning Koppel was known as the father of Danish design. He studied art in Copenhagen and in Paris, lived in Sweden during World War II. In 1947, he worked for Georg Jensen, where he used his experience as a sculptor to design these modern pieces. He later worked for Bing & Grøndahl and Orpheus Crystal. This coffee tea set with a wood handle was designed in 1952. It was a new twist on the Georg Jensen or George Jensen. They had been known for their ornate designs with floral and fruit motifs and hammered finishes. A trio of silver meat domes. These would have been used for formal dinner service, which in some homes would have been a nightly event. They are sold as a set of 3, which I think is brilliant to keep it together. These did come from the same estate, and here we see the family crest. And rich detailing in the handles. Entertaining has changed over the years. I'm glad that we can still have these pieces to appreciate and enjoy. Biscuit barrels, cookie jars, whatever you call them, they have a great selection. I like the combination of cut glass and sterling. Definitely a step up from the average biscuit barrel. And wine coasters. These can also be used for candles. Many ways that you can upcycle these into other useful items. And these also have a great history and reticulated. A matching pair. For your vanity, these cut glass perfume bottles have sterling silver lids, and I like that mirrored base, a wonderful way to showcase them. This would have been standard in many upper class homes, and this is an interesting shape. I will share with you the intended purpose, and you could also use these for cotton swabs, storing other items on your vanity. And that could even segue into other areas of your home.
Sterling lidded cut glass perfume bottles are always a great idea and makes a nice gift for someone who has everything. And how about this? This was actually made for a bar of soap. It is hand engraved with a sterling lid. E. Stone, it could have been Elise, Elizabeth, Evelyn, but she certainly kept her soap in style.
It's a wonderful partnership of silversmiths and glass cutters. In a sea of antique glass, we find a pair of inkwells. Doesn't everyone need an inkwell, especially one with a sterling lid? And the blue has been hand painted. Not something you see in your average antique shop. It is cut glass, priced at $250, and engraved with a monogram and Atlantic City. Perhaps that was a souvenir. We're stepping into Austria here with some incredible finds. And this was inspired by the Kaiser. You may remember that from the previous visit here to Carmine Dance Hall Antique Show. And the Hirschgeweih, as they call this in German, all with dates. And these would have been hung in some country homes from wealthy families. This is a very interesting find, one that I have not seen even in Germany. It is from the Black Forest, meant to hold keys. Even the ordinary things had such beauty and craftsmanship, and would be a wonderful addition to your wall art, priced at $870. This chair with rush seating is early American, from the late 1700s. You'll notice that hand-painted detailing. Quite a find. The glass and the porcelain is a dream. This is Imari inspired. You will see those colors. Looks like Royal Crown Derby. And the fish scale detailing. This square shape adds such interest to your table. That could be a centerpiece bowl. Some wonderful finds. Hand-painted porcelain and sterling silver. It's everything we love, China crystal silver. And on a side note, the Houston Glass Show for February has been postponed. You can shop them in August. This reminds me of a pearpoint bowl that my father had with the amber. Such craftsmanship in this piece. This is exquisite. Definitely worth researching. The cut to clear hawk wines and a pair of matching cut glass compotes. Val Saint Lambert. And the candle holders are absolutely stunning for many different seasons. Perfect for Valentine's Day, Christmas, a patriotic display. Copper molds. This is straight out of Downton Abbey, something Mrs. Patmore may have in her kitchen. I'll tell you more about the uses for these and some very specific details that you might not normally have heard of. Quite a collection. I'm always looking for these in Germany. My friend Theresia collects them, but they are harder to find. And this one has a rose.
A great collection of antique copper molds. These are from the 19th century, mostly from England, some are from France. They were used for making cakes, a pudding, or aspic. You'll notice they are all ornate for a beautiful presentation. Most of these copper molds you could place flat on a table for filling. There are some designs that were more ornate that didn't have that option. There was an extra ring that went around it to enable it to be placed flat on a table for a pastry chef to fill.
Richard is explaining some of the details here of this copper mold. You will notice the brass line that runs through the copper. That is dovetailing. It is welded together. The central piece is made separately and not stamped from one sheet of copper. I love learning from the experts and understanding these historical finds. And copper molds would also be a decorative addition to your space. Quilts are highly collectible, and in this wintry mixed weather, we can certainly use a few to keep us warm. They are colorful, bold, and represent a time in America. Paperweights are highly collectible. We have seen some of these in a previous visit to this show, and I will share some up-close, in-depth information on each of the main three manufacturers of these. We would refer to these as Millefiori. I recently found one in a Goodwill store from Murano, and that was quite a deal. These go to a whole nother level. And if you find some of these paperweights in your local antique consignment or thrift, this will give you some more information to acquire something potentially quite valuable. And many of these brands sell for thousands for one paperweight. Quite some rare finds today. Here we see the canes, and this one has some very specific detailing, and it sells for $37.50.
A collection of French glass paperweights with interesting craftsmanship and history. This is a Millefiori from Clichy, a French company that was highly prized in the 1800s, known for their Clichy rose. Saint Louis made the paperweights from 1845 to 1867. This one is known as an upright bouquet. It is a true beauty.
They each have distinct features that set them apart, and that is one way to identify when you are out shopping and you find one of these in the wild. And this one has an extra sparkle. You will notice it is cut crystal. And I will tell you more about the history of this piece.
The baccarat with the clematis and the cane design around it is unique because it is faceted. This will have you looking at paperweights next time you're at your local antique consignment or thrift.
An interesting find with this Masonic medal. This was awarded to Morris M. Esty in 1899. He ran for governor of California twice. He served in their state assembly and was also speaker. He was a federal judge appointed by President McKinley for the territory of Hawaii. A cameo set. This is more popular than ever. We don't often see a matching pair of earrings. And one more reason to shop this show for some great Victorian finds. This silver heart bracelet reminds me of one that my grandma had that she gifted to me years ago. These were very inexpensive at the time. There's one that even has a Texas engraving on it. You would often put your friend's name, $298. And the Art Deco rings have my attention. Let's look at one of these with a sapphire.
Estate jewelry is always a good idea. It is sustainable and you're saving lots of money from buying something on the retail market. And the intricate designs, something you can't find today. They have Edwardian, which starts from about 1901 through 1917, and Art Deco, beginning in about 1920. This is absolutely beautiful with sapphire accents.
An Imari biscuit jar. This would brighten up any space, whether it is your kitchen counter or dining room server. Such rich detailing with the colors. It has a silver-plated lid. It's priced at $135 and made in England. Flow blue, highly collectible. And Bakelite. This was all the rage. I have shared the history of this in a visit to the Y Station, and I recently acquired 2 bracelets during the last Round Top Antique Show, and such fun. Silver-plated and sterling serveware. I'm always looking for cake servers. You can use these for sweets or savories. An olive server, quite a unique find. And you can certainly mix the patterns. We are discovering more sterling silver finds. A pair of triple candelabras with an insert. You can use these as sort of an epergne with flowers, fruit. Imagine these on your table. Would be great for the holidays, priced at $495, and they're from the Victorian era. This sterling punch bowl is absolutely incredible. We will learn a bit of the history, and the dealer gives us lots of information as well on the tag. These are from Schofield, and this was a Baltimore silver manufacturer. He apprenticed with Gorham Silver. And lots of detailing in the crest. Truly a historical piece. And it seems that most of these silver pieces do have a story. Another epergne with American cut glass. I love how the manufacturers worked together to create these masterpieces, which were staples in many homes of that era.
A fabulous English epergne. This antique is Sheffield with cut glass inserts. Each arm is numbered so that it's put back in the right position if it is removed for polishing. And it also has a hallmark or back stamp with Wakefield Scarce, which is a prominent Kentucky store. They were importers of fine European tabletop items.
A collection of mint julep cups for that famous Kentucky Derby drink. These can also be lined down the center of a table filled with florals as a centerpiece. And if you look at that back stamp, there is a very special mark that has a historical significance. I'll tell you more about it.
Another connection to the Scarce store, this mint julep cup is marked with some great information. Mark Scarce, Shelbyville, Kentucky. And we also see a presidential monogram. This was often used with the president that happened to be in power so that it could be dated to that time period. What a brilliant idea, and a unique back stamp.
Fish servers. And of course, you can use these for different types of food. It doesn't have to just be for fish. We are no longer in the Victorian era where they had strict rules for each serving piece. This is from London, 1829. Creamers, ice buckets, and some platters. The silver goes on for miles. There's always something wonderful to discover, and I absolutely love sugar shakers. I mostly have Waterford crystal from different eras. This one is $85, which is a great price. I like the octagonal shape. Still dreaming of that sterling tea set. Many of these were custom made for families. And this one is a great example of that. It is not a standard item with lots of information on the hallmarks. It is French from the 19th century, $295. If you have a sterling silver pattern that you enjoy, I would love to hear from you in the comments. This is a Wood and Hughes napkin fern bowl. Look at that interesting shape, $695. There's the wooden hues hallmark. More mint julep cups. And a pair of candle holders that is from a very famous American manufacturer. Any guesses? They still have a flagship store in New York City. I was just there last September. From Tiffany and Company. Priced at $2,995. Some vintage finds here. You may remember this seller from a previous visit. A wooden biscuit barrel is something you don't see every day. $30 is a very fair price. I probably should have taken this one home. Looks to be English. And these tools have a very specific purpose, including one that was used for driving those spikes for circus tents. This is a seller we also met with on a previous visit. And she's got some wonderful ways to enjoy pieces that might be sitting in your jewelry box, and a clever use of other accessories. It could be a shoe buckle, and she can make that into a work of art. I like the sterling pieces. And she also uses gemstones. It gives you some ideas on how you can upcycle some of your great pieces. And here we see a shoe buckle with some added embellishment. A pearl pendant. And if you're not using it, why not make it into something wonderful that you can wear and enjoy? And such creativity. I bought a pearl bracelet from her on a previous visit with an English sterling silver piece that is in the center. And here is a locket and a monogram. Just love anything that is antique that can be repurposed and enjoyed today. And I always look forward to visiting her at the show. Gives me some great ideas.
Jewelry that has been redesigned and reimagined. This is made from a 1950s Bulova watch. The workings have been removed, replaced with a gemstone. It's a beautiful pearl bracelet. There's some treasures here. Love the creativity behind it, and it makes these items relevant again to elevate our everyday.
A great example of shopping your jewelry box. Maybe there are some pieces that are just sitting there. You don't know how to incorporate them, or maybe they're broken. And this is a way that you could create something special to enjoy, even if it's a shoe buckle. Let's have a look at some estate jewelry. This basket has some beautiful gemstones and was made from a collection of stick pins. Very clever. That would be a showstopper placed on a blazer. Great find. This diamond pin from the Edwardian era is exquisite. It's priced at $9,500. One can dream. It's amazing to think that you can find a piece like this. Garnets were a more affordable options. Not everyone could have that diamond Edwardian pin or pendant, and we find lots of garnets in Germany today. Let's have a look at some of the antique furniture. This side table has the draw leaves. I love anything that is a space saver. You'll notice that inlaid design, and it is Heppel white from the 19th century. Would be a great addition. And how about this checkerboard style table? It could be used as a riser to display something, but it has an interesting history you might not expect.
A rare and unique salesman sample table with that checkerboard pattern. It is tilt top on bun feet, and that was a great way for salesmen to get around and sell their wares with miniatures.
If you're looking for a space saver piece that has great storage, this English mahogany countertop piece would be a great addition. And you will notice it is a concave piece with inlay and has 6 drawers and lots of detailing. $21.95. Quilts from another part of the country, that's always a plus. And something is sought after here during the show weeks, $495 from Putnam County, Indiana. This is a great example of some of the miniature furniture. And I must say, I don't see this in most parts of Texas. And that's the great thing about shopping a show like this, is the vendors come from all over the country. 2/3 chests of drawers. I like the styling here with the burled wood. And you could even use this as a jewelry box. Why not? Made of walnut, priced at $995. A tulipière, something that we love to collect, but we don't find quite as often. This is polychrome, which is multicolored. It's actually from Belgium and not from Delft, $495. I wish I could take home some of these miniatures. I have some great ideas for these. And I'm thinking a jewelry box might just be high on my list with one of the miniature chest of drawers. Depression glass, the Cambridge decagon. A wonderful addition to many of your china patterns. $90 for 8 plates. And teacups, it's always a good time to add to your collection.
So glad you joined me today for the Carmine Dance Hall Antique Show. We found some amazing treasures like this sterling silver Repurposed pitcher. Thanks again for joining Lady Mary Bath. Elevate your everyday with antique shows.